So guys, we're here to talk about some history in the British Basketball League trophy, pulled out some of the great games. Let's go back first of all to the 97-98 final, which everybody remembers as the Terrell Myers final, but it was really John Amici who dominated.
And that was just like a classic team full of household names, but John Amici kind of stole the day there. Dropped 40 points, 16 rebounds. A big man that just had the size, the speed, the strength, just the perfect kind of mix, and then the soft shooting touch. He was unstoppable.
But everybody remembers the Terrell Myers shot. He hits a three. That really announced him to the British Basketball League.
He was a guy that I knew from Connecticut. We're both from Connecticut. A mutual friend, really guy, teammate of mine, was a close friend of his. So we had known each other pretty well. And when I had the offer to come to the British Basketball League, he was the first person I called.
And Chris Finch with the old 90. You couldn't get a more 90s.
Curtains, baby, the curtains.
And the London Towers have won the Clemson Stanley Uniborn Trophy final.
So let's go to the 2000. This was another classic final, London against Manchester, and it comes down basically to the final two plays. And these were two star-studded teams. And Danny Lewis at the free throw line, clutch player, making some big shots at the end. What did you think about the foul, first of all, Rob? The centering there.
Yeah, you always hate when one of these big games comes down to a reach-in foul on the sideline. I think it was Tony Holly, who reached in on Lewis. Maybe it was a foul, but yeah, when I'm a neutral, I love to see the game decided in open play rather than a free throw line, but take nothing away from Danny. Yeah, those are two big free throws to make. But what will hurt, even to this day, for Manchester was not to get a clean shot off. You know, when you come down to the last few seconds of any of these big games, Mike and I have been in a lot of them, man, it must hurt even to this day to not get a shot off to end it. Yeah, and even you could see there was a shot of Nurse sitting on the sidelines, and he was actually, I don't know if I've ever been in that situation for a final play where I'm sitting on the sidelines like this. He looked pretty composed.
Wow, what an amazing victory.
So let's get to the moment we've been waiting for here. Do I need to come and separate you here for Leicester against Sheffield?
We've had some time to digest it. We knew we were the underdog, and we kind of used that to our advantage heading into this one. And it was a scrappy game. That's what I remember. It was a lot of back and forth, a really tight game all throughout. I think we made some really big plays on the defensive end down the stretch.
Let's get to the play. Rob, foul, no foul?
I'm saying no foul. Like I said before, in a game that wasn't my game as a neutral, I love it for it to be decided not on the free throw line, but give them credit. And you talk about Holmes, he was big time player out of Texas A&M. We knew that coming in. A few of our guys had played against him before, so knew him pretty well. And yeah, he really put the team on his back. That one hurts for us. You know, we were seconds away from getting the job done.
You know, it wasn't like the free throws were the end of the game there, so we struggled to get the ball in bounds. We had turned it over. And
I think for me, coming up with the last play too, you know, we hadn't been in that situation, I don't think, in that season really. You know, we were winning games pretty handily. We didn't come down to it, so it was a little tricky going into the huddle to figure out who to go to.
You guys must have enjoyed that night, because I think Leicester beat you by 30 about 4 days later in the league, didn't they?
Is that happening?
Yeah.
2019 BBL Trophy champions.
So let's get to the All-London final. You got London City Roars had just come into the league. They were making a lot of noise. They'd signed some unbelievable British talent that we hadn't seen in the league before. And
I think there was 20 British players on the court that day.
They were all from London, representing their hometown.
The trophy is heading back to London, but which corner of London will it sit in?
Ultimately comes down to an overtime game. First time any final had gone to overtime.
Lucas gets himself some space to tie, and he's done it with 6 seconds to go!
This is what we're all tested on here in these big final games. You know, the decisions you make. 3-point game, do you foul? They didn't foul.
It wasn't the buzzer beater, it wasn't right at the end, but that was the shot that kind of sent them into overtime. And that's, I think, the play that kind of gave them that momentum, that edge going into that overtime that really sealed the game for them. So huge play from the Royals, and a historic win on the day.
They've won the trophy yet again.
We waited all that time for one overtime and we get two in a row. But obviously this was a strange time in life, because This was right before the country shut down for COVID. It was literally one of the last sporting events that was played before everything stopped.
This was a game where, like, were they going to play it, were they not? And they did end up playing it. And like you said, Newcastle, I think 4 of their guys had left. They were on a 6-man rotation against the Solent Kestrels, who obviously the trophy was opened up to all the NBL Division I teams as well.
Solent went up there on the big stage, and they played really well. And I think they were a team that was a force to be reckoned with in that division. But another one that you look back on, and I'm sure they feel like that they let that one slip away.
I mean, the play for me that stands out for Solent is with Trayvon Wright, obviously former rider. So, he had already had a little bit of, some championship experience under his belt. And for him to, catch that little dish pass right at the end, big dunk to send it to OT, that was a big driving force for Solent.
So in overtime, you've got Defoe in the Defoe spot. You sort of expect that to go, but I'm guessing the legs have gone at 45 minutes into the game. But there's Drew Lasker in the right place at the right time.
Our guy Drew, big putback to put them up, and that was pretty much it from there, sealed the game.
When you look back at the celebrations and everything, there was more to it than just basketball. Who knows when you were going to be able to play again or see some of your teammates again. But the one thing that was certain was that they won that game and they were able to celebrate one more time.
Well, we've seen some of the great moments in British Basketball League trophy history over the last few minutes. Hopefully we'll get some more. Hopefully in 20 years' time we'll be looking back on the 2024 final. But guys, it's been great. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.